Got 3 of these shelves together, still 5 to go because there's 8 in total. Miriam's painting them, and this is just the base coat, and then I'm going to make a trim on the front so they get a bit smoother, and for that I'm going to use some old hollow doors that I'll rip apart, and then I can cut little strips and make them a bit nicer, and then they're gonna get a color. I think I'm going to color coat them, so make them white for whatever, but like a blue one for all my screws, and then maybe a red one for all, I don't know, wooden stuff. Because it's going to be jars in here. As in my old workshop, I keep everything in glass or plastic jars, and because I want to see what's in there. So I can put like 232 or something jars in these cabinets. So there's going to be a whole wall with all kinds of little parts, screws, bolts, nuts, whatever. Yeah, video's taking too long, so I'm gonna, cut it off here and take a few of these boards again, cut out the molded stuff, and make all these stripes, because 9 centimeters, and then I still got like 200 to cut. Changed the blade on the table saw, which is good, but I think when I finish this stuff, this blade is going to be ruined again. So, and this is KWB, a brand that once sponsored a few blades when I was in the old workshop. And so now when I buy new blades, I buy, because it's a good quality, but I don't know what's in this stuff. And sometimes there are even metal parts inside this particle board, chipboard. So yeah, it's a really bad quality, but I just have to do with what I've got. So for now, I would say do some woodworking. It's a nice way to spend your time, although when you have to repeat things, it gets a bit boring. But, well, do some recycling. It's an even better way to spend your time. And see you in the next video when we finish up these little shelf cabinets and finally get on to putting a workbench in here, because now I'm doing everything on this table saw, and that's a bit of a shame. So for now, at the logo.